Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradhari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Giridhari Radhe Jai Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jai Gaur Pramanande Hari. So now we will be reading from Srila Prabhupada Leela Mirta. That is chapter 24, New Jagannath Puri. Am I audible to everyone? Is it clear, loud enough, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, it's clear. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So we're reading from Srila Prabhupada's Leela. His top cloth wrapped loosely around his shoulders. Prabhupada stood at last moment by the open door of the car and looked back in farewell to the devotees and the storefront temple. It was no longer a mere storefront, but had become something worthy. New Jagannath Puri. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had asked him to come here. Who among his god brothers would imagine how crazy these American hippies were, hallucinating on drugs, crying out, I'm God. So many girls and boys unhappy, mad, despite their wealth and education. But now, through Krishna consciousness, some were finding happiness. The first day he had arrived, the reporter asked him why he had come to Hyde Ashbury. Because the rent is cheap, he had replied. His desire was to spread the movement of Lord Chaitanya. Why else would he have come to such a dilapidated little storefront to live next to a Chinese laundry and digger's free store? The reporters had asked if he were inviting the hippies and bohemians to take to Krishna consciousness. Yes, he had said, everyone. But he had known that once joining him, his followers would become something different from what they had been before. Now the devotees were a family. If they followed his instructions, they would remain strong. If they were sincere, Krishna would help them. Lord Jagannath was present, and the devotees would have to worship him faithfully. They would be purified by chanting Hare Krishna and following their spiritual master's instructions. Prabhupada got into the car accompanied by some of his disciples, and a devotee drove him to the airport. Several carloads of devotees followed him. At the airport, the devotees were crying, but Prabhupada assured them he would return if they would hold a Rath Yatra festival. You must arrange a procession down the main street. He told them, do it nicely. We must attract many people. They have such a procession yearly in Jagannath Puri. At this time, the deity may leave the temple. He would have to return, he knew, to tend the delicate devotional plants he had placed in their hearts. Otherwise, how could he expect these neophytes to survive in the ocean of material desires known as Hyde Ashbury? Repeatedly, he promised them he would return. He asked them to cooperate among themselves. Mukunda, Sham Sundar, Gurudas, Jayananda, Subala, Gaur Sundar, Hayagriva, Haridas, and the girls. Only 2.5 months ago, he had arrived here at this very terminal, greeted by a throng of chanting young people. Many were now his disciples, all just barely assuming their spiritual identities and vows. Yet he felt no compunctions about leaving them. Excuse me. He knew that some of them might fall away, but he couldn't stay with them always. His time was limited. Srila Prabhupada, the father of 2 small bands of neophytes, tendering left one group and headed east, where the other group waited in a different mood, a mood of joyful reception. I'll stop here. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Leela Mrita ki Jai. So now we will move to our Srimad Bhagavatam class for today. We'll start with the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudирayat Nastaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. So we're reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 37. The activities of the Prachetas. Tesam vichartam padbhayam trithanam pavinechaya vitasya kim na rochata tavakanam samagamam. Tesam vichartam padbhayam trithanam pavinechaya vitasya kim na rochata tavakanam samagamam. Tesam vichartam padbhayam tithanam pavinechaya vitasya kim na rochata tavakanam samagama. Would anyone like to recite the verse?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Teshang vichartam padapyam tirthanam pavanachaya itasya kimna rachita tavakaram samagamaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. I am also trying.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tesham vicharatam padbhyam tirthanam pavanechaya bhitasya kim no rocheta tarbokanam braham samagamaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
तेषां विचरतां पद्भ्यां तीर्थानां पावनेच्छया भीतस्य किं न रोचेत तावकानां समागमः. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am also trying.
Oh, yes, please.
तेषां विचरतां पद्भ्यां तीर्थानां पावनेच्छया भीतस्य किं न रोचेत तव कानं समागमः. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So now we will do word to word. Tesam, of them, Vichartam, who travel, Padbhayam, by their feet, Trithanam, the holy places, Pavana Ichha, with a desire to purify, Vitasya, to the materialistic person who is always fearful, Kim, why, Na, not, Rocheta, becomes pleasing, Tavakanam, of your devotees, Samagama, meeting. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Dear Lord, your personal associates, devotees wander all over the world to purify even the holy places of pilgrimage. Is not such activity pleasing to those who are actually afraid of material existence? Purport. There are two kinds of devotees. One is called Goshtanandi and the other is Bhajanandi. The word Bhajanandi refers to the devotees who does not move but remains in one place. Such a devotee is always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He chants the Maha Mantra as taught by many acharyas and sometimes goes out for preaching work. The Goshtanandi is one who desires to increase the number of devotees all over the world. He travels all over the world just to purify the world and the people residing in it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, Prithvi te ache yatha nagarandi grama sarvatra prachare haive mora nama. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his followers to move all over the world to preach in every town and village. In Chaitanya Sampradaya, those who strictly follow the principles of Lord Chaitanya must travel all over the world to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya, which is the same as preaching the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The more the devotees preach the principles of Krishna Katha, the more people throughout the world will benefit. Devotees like sage Narada, who travel all over to preach, are called Goshtanandi. Narad Muni is always wandering throughout the universe just to create different types of devotees. Narad even made a hunter a devotee. He also made Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad devotees. Actually, all devotees are indebted to the great sage Narada, for he has wandered both in heaven and in hell. A devotee of the Lord is not even afraid of hell. He goes to preach the glories of the Lord everywhere, even in hell, because there is no distinction between heaven and hell for a devotee. Narayana para sarve nakutarshana bhibhayati swarga pavarga narkesh apitulyartha darshanam. A pure devotee of Narayana is never afraid of going anywhere and everywhere. For him, heaven and hell are one and the same. Such devotees wandering all over the world deliver those who are actually afraid of this material existence. Some people are already disgusted with material existence, being confused and frustrated by material enjoyment. Some people who are intelligent are interested in understanding the Supreme Lord. Both may take advantage of pure devotee who wanders throughout the world. When a pure devotee goes to a place of pilgrimage, he desires to purify the holy place of pilgrimage. Many sinful men bathe in the holy waters of the places of pilgrimage. They take their baths in the waters of Ganges and Yamuna at places such as Prayag, Vrindavan, and Mathura. In this way, the sinful men are purified, but their sinful actions and reactions remain at the holy places of pilgrimage. When a devotee comes to take his bath to those places of pilgrimage, the sinful reactions left by the sinful men are neutralized by the devotee. Trithi kurvanti trithani swantha sthena gada bhrita. Because the devotee always carries the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, wherever he goes becomes a place of pilgrimage, a holy place for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is therefore the duty of everyone to associate with a pure devotee and thus attain freedom from the material contamination. Everyone should take advantage of wandering devotees whose only business is to deliver conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. Om Jnana Tirumandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chashurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahakana Lalita Shri Vishaka Hanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhai Evacha Patitanam Panebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna to everyone. Before I start, I would like to repeat this translation again. Dear Lord, your personal associates, devotees wandering all over the world to purify even the holy places of pilgrimage, is not such activity pleasing to those who are actually afraid of material existence? So, before I say anything, I just want to acknowledge that today is my first Bhagavatam class, and I'm seeking blessing from all the devotees and Vaishnavas who have joined the class today to please bless me that I can speak some glories of the Lord, and I'm able to justify or add a little bit to what Srila Prabhupada has already given here and basically repeat what Srila Prabhupada has given. So seeking everyone's blessing. Hare Krishna. So before we start, we'll do a quick recap of what we have seen in this, in the activities of the Prachetas. So far we have seen that the 10 sons of King Prachinabhari, the 10 sons who are known as Prachetas, they underwent severe austerity, an austerity of 10,000 years. And while they were, following, this is based on following the orders of their father. And when they were on their way, they met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave them Rudragit, which they meditated on, and they did their tapasya, due to which, obviously, they had darshan of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu was very pleased with them, and there's obviously two reasons we see. One reason was that he was very pleased with the sincerity they had in following the order of their father, and secondly, the cooperation between the brothers. The Lord was very happy, and he gave them various benedictions, which obviously included fame, famous son, very suitable wife, full bodily strength, long life, which is like 1 million years, and unadulterated bhakti, living for 1 million years, even though they'll still be glorifying the Lord, they'll still be remembering the Lord. So after receiving all these benedictions, the Prachetas were overwhelmed, and they began offering prayers and obeisances unto Lord and glorifying the Lord. We've seen so many glorification till now. There's two things in particular which I've picked in texts 31 and 32, where the Prachetas mention that they're saying, since they have taken shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, there is no further benediction they may ask. So, taking the shelter of Lord, the lotus feet of the Lord, they do not desire anything more. And secondly, they pray that if there is benedictions to be given, then their prayer is, as long as they remain in the material body, they associate with those who engage in discussing pastimes of the Lord, life after life. So the other desire was that if they have this material body for 1 million years, they still hear the glories of the Lord, life after life. So we understand that is the mood of the devotee. And in this case, we see that because the Prachetas had association of, even a little association of Lord Shiva and Narada earlier in the chapters, due to association of devotee, their life changed, their mood changed, and they became pure devotees of the Lord. Obviously, they went through their whole tapasya, and Lord Vishnu was very pleased. But because they had association of the devotees initially and was given Krishna consciousness at the start, they were able to, at this point in time, the only prayer they had was to glorify the Lord, to be in association of devotees. So with that, we will move on to today's discussion. In today's verse, we see that the Prachetas are glorifying the personal associates and the devotees of the Lord. They're glorifying the devotees. And these two words I've picked from the shlok. First word is bhavana ichha, so which is desire to purify. So we understand from this verse, the translation itself, that the devotees who wander all around the world, all over the world, have a desire to purify even the holy places of pilgrimage. So it's not just that the devotees desire to purify, but the devotees, the devotees already have, wherever they go, the place becomes a pilgrimage itself. They have, if we look at, it's mentioned in the purport as well, that the devotees carry Lord in their heart. So Krishna is within their hearts. Wherever they go, that place becomes purified or becomes a pilgrimage itself. So first is, we understand that the pure devotee purifies the holy places wherever they go. And secondly, the pure devotees of the Lord are themselves, wherever they are, that is the pilgrimage place. So because Krishna is within their hearts, they carry Lord with them everywhere, and they're so pure. And the only thing they do is glorify the Lord. So there is I picked up a shlok from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 1.63. I've got a translation on it. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage because of their purity. They are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. So this I picked from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is a conversation between King Yudhishthira and Vidura. This is when Vidura goes for pilgrimage, and he visits all the holy places, and he comes back. And when he comes back and meets King Yudhishthira is glorifying him that firstly, you have been to all the holy places and, you're carrying all that potency with you. But even though you have been to the places, but because Krishna is within your hearts, you are holy place personified itself. So over here he says that pure devotees like him are personified holy places, because the supreme personality of Godhead is always within their hearts. By their association, sinful persons are freed from sinful reactions, and therefore, wherever a pure devotee goes, a sacred place, it becomes a sacred place. So if we see our example, holy places, which obviously we all go. We go to India, and we go to Vrindavan Dham, we go to Mayapur Dham, everywhere we travel. One reason is obviously because we travel to go and see the pastimes where the Lord has, carried out his pastimes. The second reason we go is because there's devotees there. They're pure devotees. They're Vaishnavas there to associate with the devotees. We go to associate with the devotees. So a holy place becomes a holy place because there is presence of pure devotees of the Lord. So the first point I wanted to make here in our discussion is the importance of holy place is due to the presence of pure devotees of the Lord. I mean, if we go to Vrindavan Dham and there's no devotees or there's no Krishna Katha happening, then how long will we last? I mean, we can't imagine a place like Vrindavan Dham or anywhere we go for pilgrimage if there's no devotees. It's devotees that glorify the place. So that's the first point I would want to make. The second word used in this one is bitasya. Bitasya is materialistic persons who is always fearful. So fear, if we look at the word fear, in today's world, we are very fearful of, I would say, much of everything. We're fear of our financial stability. We're fear of what's going to happen next. We're fear of our life. We're fear of, and job security. So there's a lot of things, of our health, this fear that remains in us. And in the in Bhagavad Gita 16.1, it tells us why we are fearful. It says, Abhyam Sattva Samsudhi, Abhyam Sattva Samsudhi. Fearfulness is a result of material involvement. So the more we are absorbed in the thought that we are this material body, we are fearful. So, and if as soon as we are free from this conception that, we are this material body, we become Brahma Buddha. We become self-realized and we become fearless. So Brahma Buddha Prasandatmana Sochtena Kangshati, Bhagavad Gita 18.54. Prabhupada says in this purport of this shloka that without being fearless, one cannot be joyful. The devotees are fearless and always joyful because they are constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. So a devotee is fearless because we carry Krishna within our hearts. This is one of the ways we see how most of the people who are not part of Krishna consciousness, they are struggling or they are striving to achieve so many things in life and always carrying that fear with them. But if they had this knowledge, if they get touched by a pure devotee of the Lord, or they get in touch with our Hare Krishna movement, then they will have this information. They will get this knowledge, and they won't be that Obviously fear is something that you cannot totally take it off, but it gives you that assurance that Krishna is there to protect you. It's Krishna is there. So once Krishna is there, that fearfulness goes away. You become more happy. You're more at ease. So that is only possible in association of devotees. The more we associate with the devotees, the more clearer it gets that that this fearfulness is not, we are not this material body, so we don't have to be that fearful of losing things that we have around us, and we can still live a peaceful life in association of devotees. So that's the second point, the value of devotee association. We take it lightly, but we have the greatest gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. It's the greatest gift that anyone can give. We have the association of devotees. Sometimes we take it very lightly, but if it wasn't for the devotees, if it wasn't for our temple where we go every Sunday to meet devotees, to hear Krishna Katha, our life would be, I don't know, a living hell. Because if we don't have that, then what else do we have? We'll be like, I don't know, living, racing to acquire things, but at the end of the day, not happy. So that's my second point. And just to further dwell on it, Srila Prabhupada mentions in his Prabhupada two types of devotees, Goshtanandi and Bhajanandi. And good examples of both. So Bhajanandi, as mentioned in the Prabhupada, is a devotee who stays at one place and engages in devotional service. And the example that I've got here is Srila Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur, it's so many glorifications of Srila Haridas Thakur, but I've just got few things which are obviously very important. So Srila Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, and even though born in a Muslim family, Srila Haridas Thakur was given the topmost post of Namacharya. He was given Namacharya by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him that because of the chanting. Srila Haridas Thakur was chanting 300,000 names of the Lord. That is equivalent to 175 rounds of chanting. So because of his love for the holy names, the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Haridas Thakur was given the post of Namacharya. So we see over here that the Lord's mercy on Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur, obviously we know, is not an ordinary personality. He is Lord Brahma's incarnation, and but still, he took birth to take part in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, and from that Leela, we're getting the teachings that chanting of the Lord's holy name, even though you're born in any other caste or religion, the purity of holy name remains, because that's what connects you to Krishna. And Haridas Thakur had so much faith in the holy names of the Lord that we see that when the king, the Mohammedan king, sort of refused him from chanting the holy names of the Lord, and Haridas Thakur said, no, I'm still going to continue to chant. You do whatever you want to do. So he was punished to be beaten in 22 marketplaces. And he was beaten at those places. He was really tortured. But that didn't stop Haridas Thakur from chanting the holy names of the Lord. There was I've got shlok here that is from Chaitanya Bhagavat 1691, where Haridas Thakur says, Kanda Kanda He Deha Jaya Jadi Prana Tabu Ami Vande Vadane Nachari Harinama. You may cut my body to pieces, and the life may leave it, but I will never abandon the holy name which my tongue will ever continue to chant. So that is Srila Haridas Thakur, his love and devotion to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the holy names, so much strong faith. And we can see the power of holy name in his life, what was depicted to us, that he transformed the prostitute even. So we know that story of how the prostitute, she came to obviously distract Haridas Thakur from his chanting and, fall him down. So she comes and she was like, obviously I want to associate with you. And Srila Haridas Thakur, such a compassionate and humble devotee, he was so kind and said that, oh, you just sit down, let me complete my 300,000 names for the day, and then I will fulfill your desires. So she waited there for, 8-9 hours, and she was like, okay, I better come tomorrow. And and she comes in again tomorrow. So, and Haridas Thakur again repeats the same thing, and she was like, okay, I'll come again tomorrow. So she, and then she comes on the third day, and by the end of the third day, she was transformed. She became disciple of Haridas Thakur. So we see the power of holy name. And also, as we see, Haridas Thakur was, even though born as Muslim, even though he wasn't allowed to go in the Jagannath Puri temple, the Lord would personally come and see him every day and would organize for Mahaprasad for him from Jagannath temple. The Lord would constantly come and see him. So we see the power of holy names. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not ordinary. We take it as a daily thing that we chant. And obviously, we don't see the power. But when we see the lives of the acharyas, we see the life of Haridas Thakur, we see that the Lord personally would come. So Lord is within us. He's seeing our desire, our faithfulness, and he fulfills based on that. So if we are sincere to chanting of the holy names, then we're in constant touch with the Lord. Then Krishna is protecting us. So there's few other points. When we see the departure of Haridas Thakur as well, the departure, when he left his body in the arms of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seeing the Lord, he left his body. And this reminded me of that we're so fortunate. We're so fortunate that we have devotee association, and I've seen this happening. And this is the most beautiful thing, I would say, to be part of Hare Krishna. That when somebody leaves his body here, the devotees get together before the person is about to leave his body. The devotees get together. They're constantly visiting, and they're chanting, they're reading, they're reminding the person of Krishna so that you don't forget Krishna, and you don't have to come back to this material world. So much faith, and even if we see the life of Haridas Thakur, at the last moment, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with him, and when he left his body, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu celebrated his body. He danced in Jagannath Puri streets and dancing and chanting. So, and that's very, beautiful. And it's something that is also reflecting now in the lives of the devotees, that, when somebody leaves his body, the devotees are standing there, they're supporting each other. They're reminding the person of Krishna. And it's very nice. It's very sweet that, we are able to continue that and able to support and able to give Krishna. We're giving Krishna, it's so beautifully. So that's one example. And the other type of devotee that is mentioned is Goshtanandi, and Srila Prabhupada already mentions in his purport about Narad Muni. And we see that how devotees always look for the opportunity to give Krishna consciousness. In this case, Narad Muni, the way he approaches Prahlad Maharaj, the way he approaches Dhruva Maharaj, and how he changes Murari, the hunter. So in Prahlad Maharaj case, we see how Prahlad Maharaj got the instruction while he was in his mother's womb, and he became a devotee of the Lord. And when he, obviously, the life of Prahlad Maharaj, we see how he was tortured by his father, but when he had the darshan of the Lord, now I'm just trying to make a point here that Prahlad Maharaj had association of his spiritual master while he was in the womb of his mother. And when he had darshan of Lord Nrsingadev, and he appeared before him and he asked him for benediction, what did Prahlad Maharaj said? He said that he did not want any benediction that could become impediment to devotional service. That was the mood of the devotee, of a pure devotee. Rather, he said that if the Lord wanted to give him a benediction, he wanted the Lord to assure him that he would never be induced to take any benediction for the sake of material desires. Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee of the Lord, hence he had no material desires, and the only thing was that wanted to be in association of devotees and serve his spiritual master. And a similar thing we see for Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, he left his palace to attain a kingdom far greater than his father and forefathers. And while going to the forest for tapasya, he meets Narad Muni. And as the touch of a pure devotee comes in his life, he goes, obviously Narad Muni wanted, to test his determination, and, was trying to persuade him to go back. But seeing his strong, firm faith, Narad Muni gave him Krishna consciousness, gave him devotional. And with that, he goes and does his tapasya, pleases the Lord. Krishna comes and gives him benedictions, fulfills all his desires, but Dhruva Maharaj did not have the desire anymore. He wanted to serve the Lord. He wanted to be in association with the Lord. But the Lord, even though his desires were fulfilled, he also got the association of devotees. So Krishna within our heart knows everything and fulfills everything. But the point here is that with the touch of a devotee in the life, your life changes, your whole desires changes, your whole system changes. So a devotee association is so important. And and also the example of Murari, the hunter, he took pleasure in half killing the animals. That's and Narad Muni saw that, and he felt so compassionate, towards the hunter and the animals. So he guided him, Narad Muni guided him that if you want to kill, you just kill them, But he said, no, we've been doing this, and this is something I take pleasure in. But over there, then Narad Muni, explained to him the impacts of this action that you're doing, what will happen to you. And Murari understood, and based on that, he took up devotion. And when Narad Muni comes back to visit him once, Murari wouldn't even, step on an ant. He would just dust away the ants so that he doesn't kill the ants. This is the same person who was half killing and taking pleasure. So with these examples, we see just with a touch of devotee in your life, changes everything. It just changes everything. It changes how we think. And so we are so fortunate And a very great example is Srila Prabhupada. We are so fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada in our lives that Srila Prabhupada, obviously, he's not an ordinary personality. He came from spiritual world, and there's so many shlokas that has been given that, that a Senapati would come and he will take this message all around the world. So there's very less word to have, in glorification, because Srila Prabhupada has unlimited glories. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 69, he went to the West and he distributed the holy names of the Lord freely. He gave us Krishna Katha. He gave us everything. What we have today is by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. The word Hare Krishna is itself by Srila Prabhupada. The gem of Vrindavan that was going to be hidden in Vrindavan, I would say, if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada did so many things. Today we have more than 400 ISKCON temple centers all over the world. The Sanatan Dharma is widespread across the world. Everybody knows Hare Krishna. Everybody knows Sanatan Dharma. There's people picking up the Sanatan Dharma. Even it's not even celebrities are reading Bhagavad Gita. So what to speak of anything else? Srila Prabhupada has worked so hard for us so that we are able to relish it. I mean, we are relishing it in our situation. We are able to read in English. I would say in our generation, unfortunately, reading Hindi is very difficult because we don't learn it so much in schools these days. And when I was growing up, obviously I didn't learn it that way. But it's all in English. Srila Prabhupada has given us purpose to understand. So, this life is forever indebted to Srila Prabhupada. There is one, I've got a, Srila Prabhupada has said, in one of his letters, it is dated March 14, 1975, he says, regarding his book, so thank you for reading my books and appreciating them. Please continue to do so. That will help you nicely to advance in spiritual life. By reading my books and chanting Hare Krishna, your life will become perfect. So this is Srila Prabhupada Ji, in one of his letters, 1975, that your life will become perfect. So, he gives assurance. Srila Prabhupada has given assurance that we don't have to go anywhere. This is where we need to be. And this is all you need to do. With that, I just wanted to add this Vaishnav song by His Holiness Jai Pataka Maharaj. He composed it. And it's so beautiful. I'd just like to, sing 2 lines of it. Adi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito, e jivana bahita kishe. Nitai korera apara karuna, kedita shakala dishe. If Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? Who else would have distributed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga? So we are forever and ever indebted to Srila Prabhupada. And, now Srila Prabhupada has given us this, so we need to take every opportunity to glorify and preach the glories of Lord in association of devotees for the benefit of ourselves and the benefit of others. And that is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wherever we are, we don't have to go anywhere. Wherever we are, we can engage in spreading the mission of Prabhupada and Srila and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to each and everyone. So with that, I will stop If anybody would like to add anything, any comment or any feedback, please feel free to.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. At the start of text 37, so nicely explained and elaborated the importance of the text with the words of Pavana, Icha, and Vitasya. So nicely reference to Bhagavad Gita that if we have a desire to purify ourselves and how to become fearless. So such important notes that you have given today is really so important. How we understand the importance of a presence of a pure devotee is not an ordinary thing. He seems to be outwardly he seems to be an ordinary man, but when you become associate and become in connection with the pure devotee, what are the effects is so important.
Yeah.
So with that, you have also explained about the two types of devotees, Bhajananandi and Goshtanandi, and the example of our mm,
Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur and Narad Muni is so important to understand. And the glories of Haridas Thakur, as you explained, is such a glorious person. By the external feature, you won't understand the importance. But if we really go through his life, his devotion, we can understand the importance. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the very valuable name as pure devotee of the Lord and is the Namacharya. And the other hand, Narad Muni, the importance of Narad Muni is a Goshtanandi. He doesn't remain in one place, wander all over the universe from hell to heaven. The only mission is to purify the fallen souls and make them into devotee. So important to understand these things. Thus, the duty of a pure devotee is very important in our lives, and we can see our life example, Srila Prabhupada, as you explained through the songs of Jaipataka Maharaj. Prabhupada na hai to tabe ki hai to. So important. So with this understanding, we need to go through, as Srila Prabhupada advised, you go through my books, you will know everything about the Lord and his mission. And he was trying to propagate the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his message. And he said, if you read it, you will understand and you will get whatever you want. So this is how the text is telling us, and you explained so nicely, right from the beginning to the end, and connecting all the points in one line and making it so easy to understand the importance of the presence of our pure devotee in our life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Dandot Pranam Mataji. Thank you for the very nice class. You covered so many points and very well connected everything. So many takeaways from today's class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for the very nice class, particularly the importance of Tirthakatra, which becomes Tirthakatra. People wants to go to Tirthakatra, but the real purpose of visiting a Tirthakatra is to associate with holy people there. And that is the purpose of visiting a Tirthakatra, because you are very nicely told, and it is always in our Shastra also, that the Tirthakatra is the place where the Lord resides. That's the purity of the place for which the Lord resides. But the real carrier of this Lord is his devotees. In their heart, they are carrying it. And you have also in this regard mentioned about the Bhajananandis and Goshtanandis, and Haridas Thakur is a great example of that. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sanatana Goswami has praised Haridas Thakur Antolila of chapter 4, I think verse 102. Apune achore keho na kore prochar, prochar koren keho na koren achar. That means there are some people who do not preach, but only they themselves act according to the instruction of the script. But there are others who preach but do not behave properly. So in both the cases, they are at fault. That means they fail to they bring the totality of the things that but one who preach, one who practice properly, and also make preaching, he is the perfect man. And the next verse it says like achar prochar namero korho dui karyo tumi sarvaguru tumi jagoter arya. So you are a great acharya, because an acharya means who by his conduct and by his preaching can convert an ordinary person to a devotee. And that is the quality of a pure devotee. And Haridas Thakur, you have given a nice example. He was able to convert even a prostitute to a great devotee. And in a similar way, Prabhupada has many places told that the taste of a pure devotee is how many people he has converted by his conduct and his preaching. So many hearts he has converted from an ordinary person to a devotee of the Lord. So that is a real taste of a preacher. And Haridas Thakur is an ideal example of that. And thank you once again for the very nice class and bringing out the point, because the persons in this material life are always afraid. They are in fear. But when we surrender to the Lord and we forgive our ownership of doing the things, accepting that we are the Lord, we can control ourselves, our activities. But when we surrender to the Lord takes care of us, and it is the only way to become fearless, and not by thinking that I am powerful, I can do, and I can get rid of my problem. It is not. It is a wrong way. But a devotee of the Lord knows the Lord is taking care of me, and in this way I am protected. So that is a real philosophy of becoming abhoy, or become fearless, surrender to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice class. Thank you. Yeah, looks like you are fearless in your first day. Yes, your flow was very nice. You are really self-realized soul. And you nicely discuss about the importance of pure devotee and the holy name. I like that point. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, so with that, we'll finish. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada.
Pitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo.
Anantapati ki jai.
Our grace Atmamaya Mataji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanand.